We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Council Slacker, could you lead, please?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was a fast one.
Roll call, please.
Councilman McIntosh.
Here.
Councilwoman Martin.
Here.
Councilman Slakta.
Here.
Mayor Nelson.
Here.
Councilman Simmons. Councilwoman Simons. Councilman Longcart.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Mayor.
Mayor.
Okay, and let's see. We'll go ahead and start with our first case. Audrey, what do you have for us?
Thank you. I'll read the title block into the record. This is a zoning ordinance of the City of Bonita Springs, Florida, considering a request by Cape Hickory RPD Amendment, formerly known as Bonita Villas, to amend zoning ordinance number 0313, Bonita Villas Residential Plan Development, as subsequently amended to remove condition 4 from zoning ordinance number 03-13, requiring that all structures, including models, be sprinklered on land located at 5841, 5831, 5821, 5811, and 5801 Cape Hickory Court, Bonita Springs, Florida, 34134, on 1.52 more or less acres, providing for an effective date. This is a second reading. Jackie Genson will provide you with the case history of the case.
Jackie.
Good morning. For the record, Jacqueline Genson with Community Development. Ms. Vance did read the title block into the ordinance, so I won't go over the request again. But this is the subject property location here. This case has been before you a couple of times, more recently this board last year, and then in previous boards in 2003. What happened during the case? There was no participants of record. We had one letter of support from the from a neighbor, but really all they wanted to do was to remove one condition that was put in 2003. And what it was is that all buildings, including models, had to be sprinkled, and it was because of the type of construction that was being used at the time. Now construction types have changed. Florida Building Code and the Fire Prevention Code don't require that the buildings be sprinklered, so as a matter of process, we had to come back before this board and delete that condition. So that is why we are here. The zoning board unanimously approved the request, and again, we had to come before you because it was the zoning ordinance itself that was being amended. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer, and the applicant is also here.
All right. If there's no objection. Would the applicant like to say anything? Like come up? Yeah, that's about it, isn't it? Unless there's a question. Yeah.
I'll move
Okay.
to approve.
Motion, let's
Second.
see. I'm just going to, for the record, I'm going to say that there were no parties of record to speak at this time. So I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor Nelson.
Aye.
Councilman McIntosh.
Aye.
Councilwoman Martin.
Aye.
Councilman Slakta.
Aye.
Okay. What's up?
Thank you. I'll read the second case in the record. This is the title block for the second case. It's a second hearing. A zoning ordinance of the City of Bonita Springs, Florida, considering a request by Center for the Arts, Bonita Springs, to rezone from mobile home MH1 to family conservation, PFC2, C1A commercial, C1A, C1 commercial, C1, to community facilities plan development, CFPD, to allow a performing arts facility on land located at 27911 Vermont Street, Bonita Springs, Florida, 34135, on 4.169 more or less acres, providing for an effective date. This is second reading. Jackie Genson will provide you with the history of the case.
Good morning again. For the record, Jacqueline Genson. This case before you is the current home of Living Waters Church. It was approved by a special exception to have a place of worship and a small preschool daycare facility. The reason why this is being rezoned to a CFPD versus a conventional zoning district is for the Center of the Arts use. And if they wanted to go ahead and ask for some of the deviations that they did in this case, they would have to do variances. So this was a better vehicle for the rezoning process, allowed them flexibility to accommodate this use and also deal with some site constraints. So that is why it was zoned to a CFPD. This is the location here. You have Bonita Beach Road in the front, Iowa Street to the east, Vermont to the west, and this is New York Street to the north, which is a privately owned dirt gravel road. For the zoning board history, again, the request carried unanimously. There was no public participants. We did receive a few phone calls prior to the case where the neighbors just wanted to make sure they weren't paving the overflow parking area because the kids use it. Topics of discussion were co-location of uses, which we did amend that condition in condition 2. It's in the asterisk part of the draft ordinance. There was a question about parking. They do meet the parking requirements. It's just that some of the parking that's used for overflow is grass or gravel. Condition of New York Street, we don't want to, that came up because it is in poor condition, but again, it's privately owned and maintained, and the participants for this facility would not be using it. Site improvements, there was some questions about would the site have to be brought up in compliance, and if they do any site modifications, expansions, then yes, our Chapter 3 code would apply. Programming, there were some concerns or questions about what kind of programs they're going to have. And then the last thing was one of our zoning board members was very concerned about the serving of alcohol. And the serving of alcohol is just like any type of main performing arts facility. It would only be during shows and for those patrons that attend those shows. So those were some of the topics that came up. But again, it got approved unanimously. And I just have some site photos showing the facility. It's in great condition. This is the main facility with some buffering. This is one of the facilities in the back along the west side. This is along the east. So again, they're not proposing any site improvements at this time. They're just going to mainly change the name and the uses that are in there. So if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer. They met the findings to rezone to a PD.
Move to approve?
Okay. We'll go ahead and allow a motion in a second. Motion in a second. But at this time, would it's a silly
Okay.
question. Would you like to come up and mess this up?
Of course, no.
That didn't come out right. Did it? Would you like to come up and speak something? Do you have any questions? And there are no parties to record, by the way, on this one either to speak. So there is motion in a second. No other questions. Roll call.
Councilman McIntosh?
Aye.
Councilwoman Martin?
Aye.
Councilman Slackton?
Aye.
Mayor Nelson?
Aye.
It's a great addition to the city.
It
Thank
is
you.
at that.
Thank you for the
And well done, Art League.
Thank you very much.
Nicely done. Would you like to come out and say something? Now is a safe time to say something.
Yeah,
Put the light on for him.
I'm still going to try to screw this up. Not really. I just wanted to share with you the experience that Jackie and Susan, their perception of the process, and Dave McKee's perception of the process. Dave's gone this for an extended weekend for a family wedding, or he would have been here. But the input I got from my clients and friends was that the process was so much nicer, so much smoother, so much more cordial, and so much more helpful than they really expected. The staff is really to be commended for really working with us to do something that's really somewhat unusual, is to change the zoning, and nothing else is going to change. So
Agreed.
the kudos that we received from the client, I thought I should share with you guys, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. There's anything else?
There's just one more thing, as long as we pat ourselves on the back. My friend Wayne Jones and I drove out to the new properties on Cape Hickory, looked at them, met with the contractor, and they also complimented the city on how well the process had gone. He said, well, we ran into a couple of problems. I said, not with the city. He said, no, with getting product here. He said, the city's done a great job for us. So I want to thank the staff once again for making us look good. Thanks very
Good.
much.
Thank you very much. And with that, I think our business is done here. Meeting's adjourned.